Hey guys, it's me and I'm back for another YouTube video, and today I'm exposing myself with the obsessions that I have had in the past. The first obsession that I remember ever having was Matt Smith and his doctor and stuff like that, and that's who my haircut is styled after, and I really can't be asked to change it. But after years of trying to get it, the quiff finally shows up during quarantine and I'm loving it. But why couldn't it show itself when I actually wanted the quiff? Don't get me wrong, I like having the quiff. Like, it's easy to style this hair to like this. But like, dude, you didn't have to get your hair cut like it. But I'm not complaining. I probably would have got this haircut anyway. But the first obsession that I remember having is Matt Smith, and in my old room, so not this room, the other room. There it's still up actually. There's a poster that is basically the size of my door. It's like basically a life-size poster of Matt Smith in the TARDIS with his hand out, like, come with me on an adventure kind of thing. And I used to love that. Like, I'm exposing myself here right now. Right here, right now. I used to kiss that thing. I used to like give it a peck on the cheek before I went to school. Like, embarrassing. Like, 8-year-old me was like, this man's gonna be my husband, like, I'm gonna marry this guy. Like, that's totally unrelated to the braces and the trousers. Those are part of my Wilford Wolfstash cosplay and my 11th Doctor cosplay, but that thing needs an upgrade. Yeah, so my first obsession that I actually fully remember having is probably Matt Smith, yeah, and the longest obsession that I remember having. Yeah, so this next obsession that I'm gonna kind of just talk about is the obsession that I think I've had the longest and will continue to have, and that's this little guy, Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. I recently got this little statue, and he is adorable. Like, he's got his little frog friend. And he's just so cute, and I love him, and he sits on my shelf over there with my Stitch bobblehead from Disneyland Paris, a picture of me and Stitch from Disneyland Paris, like a bunch of, yeah, I have a lot of Stitch stuff. I actually, you need to see this, it's so cool. This is my pillowcase. This is my pillowcase. I need to turn it like right side out. Anyway, so Stitch, I don't know why. I think it's probably because he's like, when I was younger I felt like an outcast and stuff. So I was kind of like, hey, I'm like Stitch. I can't get this open. Like, hey, I'm like Stitch. Like, people don't really like me. I have not many friends at the time. And I was like, dude, so Stitch is my spirit animal. If people ask what Disney character I am, like, it's gonna be Stitch. Like, I'm planning my first proper Disney bound to be Stitch. I can't get this open. I really want to show you guys my pillowcase. It's really cute. Anyway, so I have Lilo and Stitch on special edition. I have all the Lilo and Stitch films. I haven't watched the TV shows or anything, but Stitch is... I can't get this open. You won't be able to see it. Well, you kind of can see it from... it's Toothless in a Stitch onesie and Stitch in a Toothless onesie, and he's giving him a fish. Can't really see it, but that's my pillowcase. It's not opening properly. I'm gonna have to get Mum to do that for me. But yeah, so my main obsession is Stitch. I will try and get, if there's something with Stitch on it, I will get it. It's as simple as that. Like, I love that thing to death. The next obsession that I kind of remember is, it was like my next big obsession, apart from Robert Downey Jr. Well, specifically Iron Man. I had a quick 2-month phase of Robert Downey Jr. / Iron Man, but my next bigger phase, which I lost sleep to. I genuinely lost sleep to this. I pulled like an all-nighter watching all 3 Wolverine films, and that's the X-Men films. For 2 obsessions, I got them mainly for Hugh Jackman, because he became one of my obsessions. So I had to get all of the films he's in. And then these films sparked my James McAvoy obsession. Glorious Man on the Back. So, you know, one obsession made one new one manifest in my brain. But I don't regret having an obsession with X-Men because these are really good films. And if you don't like them, that's fine. If you're going to ask me which one's my favourite Wolverine film, you know the answer's going to be X-Men Origins Wolverine, and you're going to say, oh, it's a fake X-Men fan. But actually that film is supremely underrated. And people don't give it enough credit for what it is. Yes, some of the CGI at some points is terrible. Insert clip here. Yeah. But it's a really good film, and again, so is Logan. And it's just so good watching, like, the older films, and then, like, watching, like, Logan. And it's like, oh my god, the CGI went so far. But yeah, my next main obsession, I remember, was Hugh Jackman, and that got me to watch The Greatest Showman, and now Greatest Showman is... It is such a good film, and I'm glad that I had my Hugh Jackman obsession. But, you know, I mean, I'm never going to get rid of these DVDs. I love these films. But I'm just not obsessed with Hugh Jackman anymore. Like, I mean, you can't... I was like 14, maybe, with my Hugh Jackman obsession, just turning 15. Because I got, like, some of these DVDs for birthday presents. But I don't know, because I got Days of Future Past and Apocalypse as like a birthday present, but it was before Dark Phoenix was even a thing, so yeah. So my only DC obsession comes in the form of John Constantine, the Babe, the one and only Babe. I have all of these films. I have the City of Demons film, I have Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, which I've recently got. Anything that I see that has John Constantine in it, I will buy it. It's not much of an obsession. Well, it's still kind of like an obsession, but it's like a healthy obsession that I'm still willing to put a lot of money as. And I have this. Everywhere you go, you'll see it in a charity shop, you'll see it in a Poundland. Nobody likes this film. Neither do I. I have many problems with the film, and I'm gonna make a whole video about this in the future, about why I despise this film, but I have it anyway because it's Constantine, and you know, they were still you know, figuring it out. But because of my obsession, I actually spent 70 odd quid getting all 4 volumes of the new 52 Constantine comics. I am willing, and I am going to get some of the... oh my god, he has a striped tie in this. What is going on? Sorry, distraction. I will be getting the Hellblazer comics soon, but yeah, one thing that got me really, really annoyed with these comics is, I mean, I got them all off Amazon, obviously, but the one thing that annoys me the most about these comics is that it's all censored. So John in the Hellblazer comics is known to be... He's a bit like Deadpool in that he says, you know, he says what he means and he means what he says. And he's very mouthy. He's not like Merc with a mouth kind of thing, but he is very sweary in the original comics, and everything is censored in these because it's like a little bit more kid friendly. But yeah, that's one thing that I wish they didn't do. It was censor it, because I mean, I guess you need younger kids to read comic books, but you know, adults read comics too, and that's the reason why they do it. But yeah, so we're moving on to my current obsessions, which would be, I call them obsessions because they're healthy. Anyway, so that would be Panic at the Disco and Supernatural, which there is nothing supernatural in this shop. It's my Panic at the Disco shrine. There's nothing supernatural in this shop. Let me do that. There we go. Sam and Dean poster. I mean, I could have just pointed at my PlayStation and gone, here you go. But none of you would have got it. My PlayStation is called Baby, after Baby from Supernatural, the 67 Chevrolet Impala, and she's absolutely gorgeous, and I want one. But yeah, Supernatural and Panic at the Disco. I've been obsessed with Panic at the Disco since like 2016, Supernatural since 2018. I also have like sessions with Jacksepticeye and Markiplier. I'm making as many Markiplier things as I can, and it's just really cool. Of course, you've got the typical Five Nights at Freddy's obsession, which has recently resurfaced. So I used to have a Five Nights at Freddy's obsession, back when I used to be terrified of the games, but now I'm not as scared. But my FNAF phase kind of resurfaced due to the man behind the slaughter meme. And now I don't think it's going away. But I'm okay with that, because FNAF is really good, and I've been waiting for the FNAF film for like 5 years now, and that's the real tea. So, oh yeah, and despite what my Hufflepuff stuff says, I'm not obsessed with Harry Potter. Never really have been. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, however, yes, I am a Hufflepuff. But Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, I find, is way more tolerable. Oh, I'm forgetting one of my most recent obsessions, which lasted about 3 months, and that would be my Taron Egerton phase. I don't really call these obsessions, I call these phases, because they really do come and go quickly sometimes. Like, if it's an obsession, I call it an obsession if it sticks for more than 2 months. If not, it's a phase. So I watched Rocketman with my friend, and I became obsessed. It's funny, I became obsessed with Taron, and she became obsessed with Richard. So it's like a win-win situation. So I became obsessed with Rocketman slash Taron. So I ended up getting the Kingsman films, and that fueled my obsession further. And this phase is, I thank this phase, honestly. Eggsy as a character, and just the Kingsman films. If you haven't watched any of the Kingsman films, I beg you, watch them now. They are so funny, so good, so hilarious, but please do it. Please do it. It's so good. But yeah, I think I've missed out a few obsessions. Obviously my memory isn't as good as I would like it to be. When it comes to these obsessions and phases, I guess. But you know, at the end of the day, it's all good fun, because without the things that I've become obsessed with and stuff like that, I wouldn't have discovered who I am today as quickly as I did. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out who the hell I am as a person and stuff like that, but that's okay. There are people still trying to discover themselves in their 60s, you know? And that's okay, just take your time. But, you know, without obsessions and stuff like that and phases, you never really find yourself. Like, even my mum had a phase. You know, everyone's grandparents have had phases, you know, like, in obsessions, you know, it's a part of life. And I mean, if you don't get obsessed with something at some point, there is obviously something wrong with you. I'm kidding, please don't come at me. But, you know, it helps people find who they are. And, you know, if you've shared any obsessions with me, let me know in the comment section down below. That would be very insightful. Also, comment section down below, what obsessions have you had? I know some of my friends have had the weirdest obsessions, you know, and that's something for them to tell you about. not me. You didn't hear it from me. But you know, it's, you know, have you had any obsessions, and what's your current obsession? Let me know in the comment section down below. I really want to know. I'm actually genuinely interested to see what your obsessions have been or are, because it's interesting to see what like people have been obsessed with and how it's helped shape them as a person today. Also, whilst you're down there, just hit that like button with your likes if you like this video. I really appreciate it. And also, talk about things I appreciate. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below to get notified every time I upload a new video, which is every Monday and every other Friday, unless there is no way that I can upload. There might be a possibility that there are going to be no uploads next week because I'm going to be on holiday and we have no idea if we're going to have Wi-Fi or a steady connection. So we'll find out if you get that Monday video or not. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much. Please stay safe and I will see you maybe, hopefully, next Monday. I love you all so much. Goodbye.
But you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air, like a blazing flare. Don't stare, cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me.